Now, why is only your contract active? Did Aurra Singh not try to assassinate Senator Padme for the Separatists? Did Embo not try to kidnap Chancellor Palpatine for the Separatists? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you try to kidnap Force-sensitive babies for Sidious and not be given your contract? Welcome back to the class, everyone. As many of you probably know from watching my video from last night, there's a possibility that we will be getting some new bounty hunters and maybe even a new bounty hunter sub-faction. And while that's great because it will be lifting up some of the older bounty hunters, it doesn't really fix the bounty hunter's core problem. You see, while adding in new tags and new characters might lift 2 or 3 of the older bounty hunters up for a time, they still have a fundamental flaw in the long run. Take the Mandalorian, for example, a really great and lore-thematic kit. His main problem is the fact that if you put him on any team that is not a bounty hunter team, he is immediately locked out of his payout, which is where he gets his fantastic disintegrate ability. This is a problem because when they originally came out with him and reworked a number of the other bounty hunters and came out with some of the other new bounty hunters, is that they balance tested these characters, assuming that they would always get to use their contract. As time has gone on and the game has grown, this has really limited these characters from being used in really almost any theory craft because they are so contained to just the bounty hunter faction. And this is sad because when we go around and click on the other bounty hunters, we will see tags like Hutt Cartel, Scoundrel, Mandalorian, Mercenary, and on those squads, they're really kind of half-baked. They're not doing as much as they can, I guess with the exception of Hutt Cartel, because the leader is also a bounty hunter. So my suggestion, conceptually, for what they could do with bounty hunters to kind of fix them permanently is give them the Jango treatment. And you guys probably all saw this in the intro, but Jango, when he's under any Separatist ally who's in the leader slot, they don't have to be a leader, he will have his contract activated, which again, from a lore perspective, makes a ton of sense. If he was hired by them to do the job, and he does the job, fulfills his contract, he gets the payout, he gets all of these bonuses. Well, there's no real reason why they couldn't just apply this universally to all the bounty hunters, to whichever faction they had been working for as far as overall lore goes. Now, there is one other example of this happening in a game, but it's much more limited, and it's kind of dumb that it's limited, and that is Boba Fett Sign of Jango under Tusken Chieftain. The big problem here is it's only Tusken Chieftain, it's not any Tusken, and in addition to that, it's only in 3v3, and it's only if you have the Omicron. So yeah, it's same concept, just not executed nearly as well. But the first faction that I'm going to suggest be able to unlock certain bounty hunter contracts is going to be Empire. This is obviously a nod to Empire Strikes Back, where Vader is going to employ multiple bounty hunters, and it just makes a lot of sense that he would be able, or that they would be able to assist Vader, or really any other Empire lead in doing whatever they want to do with their added contracts. I think one of the interactions that I would love the most with this is actually Boba Fett. Whether it be a Darth Vader lead or a Lord Vader lead, if he gets his contract immediately triggered at the very beginning of battle, he would get a bonus turn and not only be able to spread out dots, because a lot of his attacks do dots and synergize already with Lord Vader and Darth Vader really well, but he would actually be able to get an ability block on the enemy team. Not only functionally is this very cool, but it's going to almost give him a Han Solo shoots first type of interaction. And from a lore perspective, Boba Fett and Han Solo kind of being rivals in a way, I just think that's really cool. So both functionally and lore-wise, I think this would add some depth to the characters. Dengar actually has the ability to do tenacity down, and really that on any Empire lead could be very useful considering how many debuffs they like, and they don't really have access to a character that does that universally other than Mara Jade, who really is tied to the Starkiller team. There's a lot of fun things that have to do with target lock on IG-88 that could be fun to employ alongside IPD and maybe even others in the future. So overall, Empire, these four I think would easily fit into it. You could probably make the argument that some of the other bounty hunters might fit in there loosely. I'm really, the more homes that they could possibly have, the better, even if that only flows in and out due to Omicrons or Datacrons or whatever. Now, moving on to Separatists, obviously we already have Jango here because he actually has the Separatist tag as well. I think it would be really cool if they added Cad Bane Aurra Sing, and Embo to the mix as well. All of them throughout the Clone Wars have worked directly or indirectly for the Separatists before. Cad Bane kidnapping Chancellor Palpatine, or Singh trying to kill Queen Amidala. It was actually ordered by Zero the Hutt, but that's kind of a complicated indirect method. And then Embo just kind of worked for hire for a lot of different people all throughout the Clone Wars. And again, all of them getting added in, this would give us even more possibilities to maybe move Watt off of the trench team and move one of them in, because Embo's payout is really cool, where every single time that he crits, he's able to take a bonus turn. I can see that being problematic for a lot of the enemy teams, and even if it's not, I just like the possibility being out there. Now, I will say, in addition to this fun change, help Cad Bane out. He's one of the only bounty hunters without a Zeta, and I typically wouldn't have an issue with that because that actually, by nature, makes him a cheaper character to have. But gosh, he needs it. Like, he needs something to make him just a little bit better. It's one of the biggest lore to power gaps that we have in game. And I think they could probably capitalize a little bit on his payout, where right now it's only giving 25% evasion and then inflict a thermal detonator for 2 turns. They could really just go buck wild with this. I mean, maybe make it specific to Jedi, because a lot of his kit is anti-Jedi, but make it 100% evasion. Like, there still will be ways to kill him, because there are attacks that cannot be evaded, or maybe just make it specific against Jedi, just to kind of throw a wrench into things if someone wanted to use Jedi Knight Revan versus Trench or something like that. But man, he needs something, and maybe annoying dodge isn't the answer, but they gotta, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think they could do to make Cad Bane a lot better. Next up is going to be Mercenary, and this is actually a pretty new tag with Baylan Skoll, and I'm a little disappointed that, again, they didn't already do this, but Boba Fett Sign of Jango actually has some pretty nice indirect synergy with Baylan already. If he could just unlock his payout, get access to that critical avoidance, that defense penetration, the momentum gains, that would make him just that much better utilizing there. And again, he was an actual mercenary. I mean, Zam's a really great example. She wasn't technically employed by the Separatists. She was employed by Jango, which I guess you could make her indirectly in the same category as Separatists as well. I really don't care. Just do one of the two or both. But being a mercenary for hire would make sense that she would have her contract activated, although hers isn't very good when under any mercenary leadership, which, to be frank, there honestly are a ton of mercenaries, so being under a Baylan squad probably wouldn't be her only option. Greedo, this one's loose, and quite frankly, I don't know where to put Greedo. He actually might not get one of these, because the main group that we have him working with all throughout both the Clone Wars as well as the original trilogy, I guess before he died, was with Hutt Cartel. And he already has that tag, and Jabba can already get him his contract. So, I don't know. I put him here because I didn't want to completely leave him out, but at the same time, yeah, he doesn't really fit all that well. And then Cad Bane, again, here for good measure. Felt like it fit. For Scoundrels, Grief and Mando, this always seemed like a really cool idea to me, to have all the characters specifically from The Mandalorian under kind of one roof, to have all their contracts activated at the same time. Always a little bit buggy that he's not a bounty hunter, but I realized that as well was probably for balance reasons. But as time has gone on, I really don't think it would hurt for Grief's payout to be active under the Mandalorian Beskar Armor lead, and then Fennec as well to be under the Mandalorian Beskar Armor and just to immediately have her contract activated. Lore, etc. It would be really fun. And she already synergizes with him pretty well, with all of her multiple hits really charging up not only turn meter, but as well the Whistling Birds. So overall, very, very good connection there that I think they could really capitalize on. They don't need to do this one, but it really bugs me that they gave IG-88 all this like target lock synergy. And as it stands, you really can't capitalize on that at all, other than with him himself. You can put him on the Afro team. He's actually really good on the Afro team, AoE ability block and whatnot. But having his contract active even further, it would be a nice touch. And honestly, this would be, I mean, his attacks ignoring 50% of defensive target locked enemies. That's kind of a big deal. That'd be really nice to have. And last, and I guess going to be least, as I was just going to put a note in here if it wasn't already obvious, I do not think that Jabba the Hutt, Chrysanthemum, and Boushh need this treatment. They're fine. I mean, I guess if you want to do the clause, if they have a Hutt Cartel leader that isn't Jabba, then they'd immediately get it. But at the same time, I mean, do we even really have any Hutt Cartel leaders that aren't bounty hunters? I think the answer is no. So yeah, that doesn't really work. At any rate, I don't think they're going to age poorly. And that's really what this whole concept is trying to do. We're trying to give the bounty hunters some theory crafting possibilities where they're not just completely out of luck if you can't use a traditional bounty hunter squad. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Let me know what squads you think they should go on. Until the next time, stay awesome.
you.